Raymond, good evening. Thank you for giving me your phone number.
Thank you too, Callie. I'm happy to connect with you. Please, call me Ray from now on.
Being called Callie makes me feel like we've already become so close to one another, like sisters. It feels strange, especially since I've only ever had a younger brother.
I totally understand. I have an older brother, but no sisters, so I'm thrilled to finally have one in you.
That's so sweet. Let's get along well, okay? By the way, how's my little brother treating you? He's always been the quiet and serious type, so I have a hard time imagining him in a proper relationship.
Jacob's been treating me wonderfully. He's always so kind, and I really rely on him. He's become someone I can trust wholeheartedly.
Really? That's a bit surprising. I didn't think he was the type to be sweet and romantic, at least not outwardly.
Oh, you'd be surprised. He's actually pretty romantic in a subtle way. Sometimes he says things so directly and sweetly that I'm the one who ends up feeling shy. His proposal, for example, was just so straightforward and heartfelt, it really moved me.
Oh, really? That does sound surprising. I guess you're a bit of a soft spot for directness, huh?
Maybe. I can't help but feel a bit embarrassed now that I'm talking about it.
I was so curious about what kind of person Jacob's girlfriend would be, especially because he's always been so reserved. But now that I've talked to you, I can totally see why he's with you. You're polite, kind, and seem like a very genuine person.
Oh no, I'm not anything special, but thank you so much for saying that. It makes me really happy to hear that.
And you're humble too. I feel so relieved knowing that he's with someone as thoughtful and well-mannered as you. Honestly, I was a bit worried. There are so many young people nowadays who don't seem to have good manners or respect for others. I was afraid Jacob might have ended up with someone like that.
I don't know about others, but I was raised in a strict household, so I think that might have helped with my manners.
Oh, you're the type who was brought up well then. Our parents were also very particular about manners and how we behaved. It's a shame that not all young people are like that nowadays. At my workplace, there are some younger employees, and let me tell you, their manners leave a lot to be desired.
That must be difficult to deal with. I always thought that basic manners, like saying proper greetings, were fundamental in any situation, especially in a professional setting.
Exactly. You would think that, but apparently, basic courtesy is too much to ask from some people. It's exhausting trying to teach them how to behave properly in a workplace. And if you scold them too harshly, you get labeled as harassing them.
It really is a reflection of the times we're living in, I suppose. I've heard that a lot of young people nowadays are not used to being reprimanded, and they take it very personally. It must be hard to find a balance in how you approach those situations.
Oh, absolutely. These kids are so fragile. It's almost like they're made of glass. You give them even the slightest bit of constructive criticism, and they start tearing up as if you've done something terrible. It's as if you're the villain, even when you're just trying to help them improve.
That does sound frustrating. It's strange that people in senior positions are the ones who have to be so careful about how they communicate, even when they're just doing their job.
Exactly. That's why you should always appreciate your bosses and the higher-ups at work. They're the ones who carry the weight of all that responsibility.
You're right. It must be incredibly difficult for them, having to manage not only the workload, but also the delicate feelings of the younger employees. I'll make sure to be more mindful of that and show my appreciation whenever I can.
You're such a sweet girl, Ray. I wish more of the younger generation could be like you. Polite, hardworking, and self-aware. Honestly, if the new employees at my job were more like you, it would make my life so much easier. I guess the difference in upbringing really shows. I've been stuck training the new hires, and it's exhausting.
Well, it sounds like your superiors really trust you to handle that kind of responsibility. It must be hard work, but it's also a sign that they know you're capable of taking on such an important task. Not everyone can handle training new employees, but you clearly can.
I guess so. I've been with the company for 10 years now, so I'm a bit of a veteran. Training new recruits is just part of the job for me at this point. But if you ever need any advice or guidance, feel free to reach out to me anytime.
Thank you so much. I'll definitely rely on you if I ever need any help or advice. I feel really fortunate to have you as my sister-in-law.
I'm so glad to hear that. I have a feeling we'll get along really well. You're already fitting in perfectly with our family. Jacob is lucky to have found someone like you.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. I'm looking forward to spending more time with you and getting to know everyone better. I hope we can become really close.
I have no doubt that we will. Welcome to the family, Ray. You're already an important part of it, and I'm so glad we had this chance to talk. Let's stay in touch, okay?
Definitely. I'm excited for the future. Thank you again, Callie, for being so welcoming and kind.
Anytime. I'll be here if you need anything at all. Just remember, family comes first, and we're all here to support you.
I won't forget that. I'm so happy to be a part of the family now. Thank you.
Good morning, Ray. I heard you're planning the family meeting soon, right?
Yes, we're planning to hold it in about 2 weeks, on Saturday.
I see. I'll be attending as well. It just so happens that I have the day off from work, so it'll be perfect timing.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know you'd be coming too.
Of course, I wouldn't miss it. I've been wanting to meet your parents for a while now. This is a good opportunity to get to know everyone before the wedding.
That's wonderful. I'm really glad you'll be there. I'll adjust the reservation, so we'll have a table for 7 then.
Oh, I thought there would be more. Isn't your brother attending?
No, unfortunately, he won't be able to make it. He lives quite far away, and since he's married and has work obligations, he can't travel here just for this meeting. But he will definitely be at the wedding, so you'll get to meet him then.
Ah, I see. Well, it's a pity I won't get to meet him this time. I was curious to meet your brother, but it can't be helped. I'll look forward to meeting him during the wedding. I imagine you two are close.
We are. I'm sure you'll get along well when you meet him, but even without my brother at the family meeting, I've made sure everything will be just perfect. I want it to be a wonderful experience for everyone. Actually, I've been quite particular about the restaurant and venue. I've put a lot of thought into it.
Oh? Now you've piqued my curiosity. I've actually heard from Jacob that you made an impressive choice. How did you manage to get a reservation at such an exclusive place? I didn't expect that.
Oh, you've heard of it? I wasn't sure if anyone would know the restaurant. It's really popular, so I'm glad you're familiar with it.
Are you kidding? Of course I know it. That place is legendary. It's one of those places you've seen in magazines, but I never thought I'd have the chance to go there myself. It's always booked, and the waiting list is so long. I've wanted to go visit for ages.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that famous. I'm really relieved to hear you're excited about it. I worked hard to secure the reservation, so I'm glad it's appreciated.
You did a fantastic job. I'm honestly impressed that you managed to get us in. Do you mind me asking how you pulled it off? Did you happen to stumble upon a cancellation?
Actually, I've known about the place for a while now. I've always wanted to visit, but never really had the right occasion. When we started planning the family meeting, I figured this was a great opportunity, so I called them up and explained the situation. It took a little persistence, but they had an opening, and I managed to secure the spot.
I have to say, I admire your determination. It sounds like you've really put a lot of thought and effort into this. It's rare to see someone be so considerate about family gatherings. It just shows how much you care.
Thank you. It's really important to me that everything goes smoothly and that both families have a great time. I want my parents to feel comfortable meeting Jacob's family, and I thought a special setting like this would help make the day even more memorable. I just hope everyone enjoys it.
I'm sure they will. Honestly, I'm really looking forward to it. Not just the meal, but also getting to know your parents. From what Jacob has told me, they sound like wonderful people.
Thank you. I think they'll be just as excited to meet you. They've heard so many great things from me and Jacob, so I'm sure they're eager to get to know you in person.
I'll do my best to make a good impression. I'm sure it'll be a lovely day, and the restaurant sounds like the perfect place for such an important occasion. You've really outdone yourself with the preparations.
I'm happy to hear that. I've been a little nervous about getting everything right, but hearing your positive feedback puts me at ease. I'll make sure everything is perfect for the day.
You don't have to worry so much. From what I can tell, everything will go off without a hitch. You're doing a great job. I just can't wait for the day to finally arrive.
I feel the same way, and I'm sure it'll be a great chance for everyone to get to know each other better, so I look forward to seeing you there.
Likewise, Ray. Thank you for organizing all of this. I'm genuinely excited, and I'm sure it'll be a memorable day for all of us. Let's make it a day to remember. Ray, Are you in the restroom right now? Can we talk for a second?
Wait, Callie? Is something wrong? I'll come back to the table right now if you want to talk. I can come right over.
No, you don't need to come back just yet. Let me just say what I need to say here.
Okay, if you insist. What is it?
It's about your engagement to my brother. I want you to call it off.
What? Call off the engagement? Wait, why? What's going on? Did I do something to upset you? Please, tell me if something went wrong.
No, that's not it. The restaurant and the atmosphere here are lovely, and the food is great, so nothing's wrong with those things.
Then why on earth would you want me to cancel the engagement? If it's not about the dinner or something I've done, then what's this about?
Because your family doesn't belong in a place like this. That's the truth, and I think it's time someone says it.
I'm sorry, I still don't understand. What do you mean by that exactly?
I saw something earlier. Your father. He's using a Velcro wallet, isn't he?
Yes, he is. So what? That's the wallet he likes to use? And it's practical for him. I don't see what the issue is.
Do you even realize where we are right now? This is a high-end hotel, and the restaurant we're sitting in is known for its exclusivity and prestige. It's an expensive, elegant place. Bringing a wallet like that here is completely out of place. It shows a lack of class.
I understand this is a fancy place, and I'm sorry if my father's wallet seemed inappropriate to you, but that wallet is something that holds sentimental value for him, and it's served him well for years. And frankly, I don't think what kind of wallet he uses should matter in a place like this. We're here for a family dinner, not a wallet contest.
Oh, it absolutely matters. If your father can't even afford a proper, sophisticated wallet, what does that say about the rest of your family? How poor is your family exactly? I refuse to let my brother marry someone from a family like that. I can already see where this is headed. You'll just end up leeching off of our family's money. I won't let that happen.
That's simply not true, and it's unfair of you to assume that. We would never do anything like that to your family.
Oh, come on. Of course that's how it'll end up. When there's such a massive financial gap between two families, the wealthier one is always the one that loses out. I'm sure even when it comes to the wedding, my parents will end up contributing way more than yours. There's no way that's fair. Why should we have to shoulder more of the financial burden?
You've got it all wrong. My family may not be as wealthy as yours, but we're not what you think we are. We can hold our own, and we have no intention of placing any financial burden on you or your parents. We're here to join our families, not take advantage of anyone.
And I'm supposed to believe that? From someone who comes from a poor family and probably hid that fact to get close to my brother? I don't buy it. And speaking of your family, what's with your parents' appearance? Their clothes, their bags, their watches. Not a single one of those items is from a recognized brand. They don't even have one designer item between them. And look at their hands, both of them. Rough, calloused hands like that? That's the clearest sign of poverty I've ever seen. You come from a family that works with their hands, don't you? It's so obvious.
They don't need to flaunt expensive items to prove anything. And rough hands? My parents are hardworking people who've built their lives from the ground up. Their hands are proof of their dedication, not a mark of shame. And honestly, as long as they're appropriately dressed and are respectful of where they are, that should be more than enough.
Typical poor person response. You're just making excuses because your family can't afford the finer things in life.
It's not an excuse, and it's not about what we can or can't afford. It's about what's important to us. We value what matters, not appearances.
I've heard enough. I don't care what you say. You're never going to be good enough for my brother. The marriage isn't going to happen, not while I'm around. I'll make sure of it. I'm going to tell my brother and my parents that I'm completely against this engagement. You should just take your poor parents and leave right now before you embarrass yourselves further.
Are you seriously insulting my parents like this? Over what? Because they don't wear designer clothes? Because my father has a wallet you don't approve of? You're crossing a line here.
I'm just stating the truth. Your entire family is beneath us. You come from nothing, and people like you should stick with others who are at your level. You should not be trying to climb the social ladder by marrying into a wealthier family. You're just dragging us down. Go find a poor man to marry and leave my brother out of it.
Callie, I can't believe you're saying these things. I didn't realize this was the kind of person you were. But if this is how you feel, then fine. I won't force myself or my family into yours. You want to call off the engagement? Let's call it off. I wouldn't want to be a part of a family where someone like you exists. I can't marry into this. We're done. Callie, we're going to take our leave now. Jacob has been calling me repeatedly, and I'll need to explain to him that you've opposed the marriage.
Oh, feel free to do whatever you like.
All right, then. Just so you know, if Jacob ends up blaming me for this situation, I won't be held responsible.
Why would I be blamed? I've only tried to protect my brother from making a mistake.
You might believe you're protecting him, but all you've really done is destroy his future. Your misunderstanding of the situation is severe.
What? Are you reacting like this because you've been exposed as poor?
I've already told you that's a misunderstanding.
It's not a misunderstanding at all. I've been deceived by your brother's girlfriend who turns out to be extremely poor. You're completely out of place in such a high-end setting. Just leave already.
You've been making all sorts of claims and accusations for a while now. Who are you even talking to? The owner of this hotel is my father, you know?
Huh? What are you talking about?
My father is a well-known entrepreneur with several companies both within Japan and internationally. The notion that we are poor is completely out of the question.
What are you even saying? There's no way I'm falling for such ridiculous lies.
Can't you see? The seat we were in was the only special one in the entire restaurant. Just the cost of this meal alone is several 100,000 yen.
Huh?
If you've always admired this restaurant, you should at least be familiar with the prices, right? The cost of today's meal is being covered by our family. The drinks and other items at our table weren't cheap either. Do you really think a family that can spend 1,000,000 yen on a meal is poor?
That's a lie. Your parents clearly looked like poor people.
Are you referring to the wallet? That wallet was a gift from my brother's child to our father. It's true that it's inexpensive, but it's cherished because it was given by a grandchild.
So you're saying they're using something so cheap just because it was a gift?
It's something a 4-year-old picked out from a general store, so it's naturally inexpensive. What matters more is the sentiment behind it. Additionally, my parents are frugal and don't prefer high-end brands. They value functionality, aesthetics, or sentimental value more.
That doesn't sound like a wealthy person.
What do you know about wealth? You're an adult who still relies on your parents and lives off of them.
Who's living off whom?
Jacob told me that you only give your parents $50 a month. That amount doesn't even cover basic utility bills.
If my parents are okay with it, what's it to you?
It's astonishing how someone who barely contributes can act so superior at work. I bet the younger employees you look down on are paying their own living expenses.
Shut up! My personal life is irrelevant here. Besides, isn't it more wrong to behave in a way that misleads others? If you're wealthy, you should dress and act the part.
My parents were properly dressed. The clothes they wore were decent. It's you who's mistaken. You can't recognize good quality unless it's a brand name, can you?
Be quiet. And what about those rough hands? What's up with that? They don't look like hands of wealthy people at all.
Those rough hands are from gardening. My parents enjoy gardening and growing vegetables. They take care of the garden at home, and both of them have sensitive skin, which gets rough easily. Especially my father, who even dislikes using hand cream.
What is that? Don't try to mislead people with such excuses.
You judged based on appearances and made a misunderstanding yourself. Do you have anything else to say? My family and I are currently in the hotel suite room. If you have more to discuss, you can come here.
Fine, I get it. I understand now that you're wealthy.
But Jacob won't be satisfied with this situation. You should come along as well. If you don't apologize, the engagement will be annulled. I will make sure Jacob knows that. It's not just about appearances or misunderstandings. It's about respect and understanding between families. Your behavior today has shown a lack of respect for both my family and our situation. If you truly care about resolving this, you should come and address this matter properly.
I see. So you want to resolve this by having me come over and apologize? If that's the case, then it's clear that you're not interested in an honest discussion, but rather in making me submit to your demands.
It's not about submission. It's about addressing the issues that have arisen and showing respect for both sides. If you truly want this engagement to work, you need to address the concerns that have been raised.
You're demanding an apology, but you haven't even listened to my side of the story. If you're set on ending this engagement over misunderstandings and appearances, then it seems that you weren't truly interested in making it work from the beginning.
I'm trying to address the issues as best I can, but if you continue to refuse to acknowledge the concerns and show willingness to resolve them, then there's nothing more to discuss.
I'm willing to discuss and resolve these issues, but it should be done with mutual respect and understanding, not through ultimatums and threats.
It's clear now that this situation might be beyond reconciliation if we can't address the core issues with respect and openness. Let's see how Jacob responds to this and go from there. Callie, we've come to a decision about how we'll move forward from here. We've decided to reschedule the face-to-face meeting that was planned for next week, but you won't be included in it. We've determined that it's best if we proceed without you in this particular discussion. Furthermore, please do not attend our wedding. We believe it's best if you stay away from the event entirely. From now on, I must insist that you do not contact me again. Our future interactions should cease immediately.
Hold on a second. I just received a call from my parents. They've made a decision to completely cut off ties with me as a result of this situation.
Yes, that's right. I appreciate that your parents have made their decision clear.
Are you seriously suggesting that you're willing to sacrifice me just to secure a marriage into a wealthier family? This is incredibly harsh and unfair to me.
Let's be honest here. You've been relying on your parents for a long time, haven't you? This might actually be a good opportunity for you to become more independent. Your parents will probably feel relieved to finally not have to support you anymore.
What do you mean by relying on them? I really don't think I need to be lectured about this by someone like you who benefits from wealth. Do you seriously think that you've never depended on your parents for financial support?
I live on my own and cover all my living expenses myself. While it's true that I have a relatively privileged situation, I don't rely on my parents for everyday needs. I only request their financial support for special occasions or significant life events. It's not a constant everyday dependence.
Even if I misunderstood certain things, does that justify severing all ties with me? All I did was try to protect my brother from what I saw as potential problems.
That's not really the main issue here. Jacob is furious because your actions nearly caused the engagement to fall apart. Even if my financial situation were dire, he would not thank you for the collapse of the engagement.
That can't be true. The only reason my brother chose you was because you come from a wealthy family.
As his older sister, it's clear that you don't understand my brother at all. Please don't compare my fiancé with yourself. It's evident that you two are fundamentally different. Now, I understand why he might have mentioned feeling uncomfortable about his sister.
Uncomfortable with his sister? Did he really say such things?
Yes, he has mentioned it before. He's often said that he prefers not to be closely involved with you. He seemed relieved when the idea of cutting off contact with you came up.
So, it seems like everyone in the family is aware of this situation and feels similarly?
It certainly appears that way.
I can't handle this. I don't want to be left alone like this. Ray, I'm truly sorry for what happened earlier. Please, I beg you, don't make it so that I'm completely cut off from my family.
This is a matter for your family to decide. I will not involve myself in trying to mediate or fix the situation. I do not wish to keep someone who behaves rudely and lacks basic manners as part of my family.
So, you're apologizing now? I am genuinely sorry. Please forgive me. Don't take my family away from me.
For now, I must insist that you refrain from any further interaction with us as a couple. I cannot accept you as a family member moving forward. I don't want someone who is willing to harm my family to be associated with us. To be perfectly clear, someone like you is simply not suitable to be a part of my family. Your behavior has shown a lack of respect and understanding. The way you've acted and the things you've said have made it clear that you do not belong in our family circle. It's unfortunate that it's come to this, but it is necessary for us to set clear boundaries. I understand that this is difficult for you, but please respect our decision. We have tried to handle this situation with as much grace as possible, but as the damage done is significant, if there's anything else you need to say or clarify, please do so in a way that respects our decision and boundaries. We hope that you can come to terms with this and move forward without holding any further resentment. This is not an easy situation for anyone involved, but it is what we believe is best for all parties moving forward. Please accept that our decision is final. We believe that maintaining this separation is in the best interest of everyone involved. We need to move on from this and focus on our future without any further complications or misunderstandings. Thank you for your understanding, and we hope that you can find a way to accept and move forward from this situation. After that incident, my sister-in-law was completely cut off by my husband's family. The fallout from the confrontation was severe and resulted in her being entirely ostracized. It wasn't a surprise, given her already difficult personality and her history as a troublemaker. She had always been a contentious presence, not just within our family, but even with her own siblings. Her strained relationships with her own family members had been a recurring issue, demonstrating that her problems were not confined to just one area, but were widespread and deep-seated. When the final decision was made, it was clear that even her parents, who had previously been a source of financial and emotional support, chose to abandon her. This decision was particularly impactful because she had relied on the allowances and financial help she received from them. This source of income was crucial for her, and losing it meant she faced a substantial reduction in her financial stability. The immediate consequence of being cut off was dramatic. She was not only financially deprived, but also had to leave the family home. This upheaval placed her in a precarious and unstable situation, pushing her to find new living arrangements under less than ideal circumstances. She ended up moving into a very old and inexpensive apartment. The apartment was a significant downgrade from her previous living conditions, highlighting the stark difference between her former lifestyle and her new, much less comfortable situation. To compound her troubles, her professional life also suffered a serious blow. She was terminated from her job due to allegations of power harassment towards her subordinates. It seems that the stress and frustration from her previous life, including the recent family estrangement, were vented inappropriately at her workplace. This maladaptive behavior not only further damaged her professional standing, but also isolated her from her colleagues, exacerbating her already difficult situation. The unfortunate series of events seems to have created a perfect storm of challenges for her. The stress from being disowned by her family most likely contributed to her inability to manage her emotions and reactions at work. Instead of finding constructive ways to deal with her issues, she directed her frustrations at those around her, which only led to more problems and ultimately cost her job. In light of these events, I have come to the conclusion that assisting someone with such a deeply flawed and troubled disposition is not feasible. I believe that personal growth and resolution require individuals to recognize their own mistakes and take steps to correct them independently. Relying on external help for someone who exhibits persistent negative behavior is unlikely to result in meaningful change. Personal responsibility and self-awareness are crucial for addressing one's issues and moving forward. On the other hand, my own life has been progressing positively. The engagement with my partner has remained intact, and our relationship has only strengthened. Despite the challenges and the disruption caused by my sister-in-law, we've managed to maintain a supportive and loving relationship. This has been a source of great stability and happiness for me, and it's allowed us to build a strong foundation for our future together. Since the departure of my sister-in-law from our lives, interactions between our two families have significantly improved. The tension and discord that once marred our relationships have been replaced by a new sense of harmony and cooperation. This positive change has made our family gatherings and interactions much more pleasant and productive, creating a more supportive and inclusive environment for everyone involved. We recently celebrated our wedding, and it was a beautiful and memorable occasion. The ceremony went smoothly, and the event was a testament to our commitment to each other. The joy and satisfaction of having completed this important milestone have been immense. It was a wonderful experience, and the success of the wedding has added to our happiness as a couple. Looking forward, we're planning for our honeymoon, which we are both eagerly anticipating. The honeymoon represents a special time for us to relax and enjoy each other's company after the busy period of wedding preparations. This upcoming trip is a source of excitement and joy, and it will provide us with the opportunity to create lasting memories together. In summary, while my sister-in-law's situation has deteriorated significantly due to her actions and the subsequent decisions made by her family, my own life has been moving in a positive direction. The stability and joy found in my relationship with my partner, combined with the improved dynamics between our families, contrast sharply with the difficulties faced by my sister-in-law. The significant changes and challenges she's encountered serve as a reminder of the consequences of one's actions and the importance of addressing personal issues constructively. Meanwhile, the progress and happiness in my own life highlight the benefits of supportive relationships and positive interactions within the family. The contrast between our experiences underscores the impact that personal behavior and decisions can have on one's life and the lives of those around them. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.